So, have you ever felt like you just can't communicate with somebody? You're frustrated, they won't listen to you. You feel like it goes nowhere, it's a waste of words. It's like you might as well just be talking to a wall. Well, if you feel like that, you're certainly not alone. And we're going to chat a little bit about tonight about some communication things, and hopefully something will ring home to you a little bit here. If you're frustrated because you're trying to communicate with somebody, this could be someone at work, it could be a brother or sister, it could be a family member of any sort, it could be a neighbor, it could be anybody. Particularly relationships apply, but it can apply to anyone and anybody. But have you ever get or have felt frustrated and just I can't get through to them and I just can't communicate with them. They won't communicate with me. Well, let me tell you this much. I've heard many times people say something like, they won't listen, or how about this one? They just get up and leave. If they just get up and leave the conversation, they're like, I'm out of here, I'm not listening to this, and slam the door. Did they communicate to you? That's an absolute yes. I think they just communicated something to you. Did you get the picture? If you're having a conversation and somebody gets up and leaves, slamming a door, I think the communication was pretty loud and clear. I think that was there. I think they communicated. Now, do I think they communicated in a healthy way? No, not at all. There's healthy communication and unhealthy communication, which we're going to talk about tonight. But I want to remind everyone that communication, the definition of communication, I'm not quoting it, I'm just saying it, kind of just throwing it to you, most of it, is the process of using words, actions, signs, behaviors to express or exchange thoughts and feelings. And I want to remind you that it's way more than just words, so much more than words. Think about body language for a minute. Think about what that speaks, what that says. Have you ever been in a conversation where the body language is just like, nothing's happening here because the body language is speaking for itself? Well, that's communicating. And the body language may be one of tenderness. It could be one of anger. But body language sometimes can speak a lot. It's a big part of communication, a huge part of communication. So I just want you to remember that the definition of communication is the act of and the process of using words, which is one obviously, sounds, signs, or behaviors. Behaviors could be any type of behavior to express or exchange different thoughts and feelings to another person, and that's really big. So please remember that it's not just words. There's much, much more to communication than just words. So much more. So let's just talk for a moment about what looks unhealthy and what's healthy. Unhealthy communication includes several of these things. We'll talk about them a little bit. Not being vulnerable and honest. That's unhealthy. Because if you're really going to communicate, you really need to be honest, 100% honest, not give them partial truth. If you're the other person in the other seat, do you want partial truth? Or do you just want pure truth laid out there? Give me it all. Lay the truth on me. Be vulnerable here. It's really important to be vulnerable. And that's another video coming up. Vulnerability and honesty. And we'll talk about that in a full video. The other unhealthy things can be raising your voice. There's no need, honestly. Please don't raise your voice. Be nice and be kind. Remember, hopefully you're talking to somebody that you like, or as a family member, or your spouse, but use kind words and don't raise your voice. That'd be nice. But that, when you raise your voice, truly indicates that the communication here is not healthy at all. Silent treatment, that's something that is definitely unhealthy. That is unhealthy communication, end of story. Not speaking or giving someone else the silent treatment never has and never will solve anything. How about interrupting? How many times have you been in a conversation and you just keep interrupting each other, and I'm sure you've seen how that goes, and that accomplishes a lot, doesn't it? That really accomplishes and get you where you want to be by interrupting each other. And in that interruption, proving a point. Trying to prove your point is unhealthy, because many times, most of the times, and you're going to hear me say this many times over, that most of the time there's not a right or wrong. So what are you trying to prove when there's not a right or wrong? There's just how you feel, and there's just how you feel. There you are. You feel that way. You feel that way. Okay. So trying to prove a point, and I'll move one step farther than that to trying to prove someone else wrong. Super unhealthy. Super unhealthy. One of the others might be not listening. just truly sitting there and just not listening and not caring. Along with not listening is a big one, and that is, how many times have you had a conversation and while the other one's speaking to you, let's just take, for instance, a relationship, and they're trying to make a point, and they're trying to make this point to you, and you are trying to think of your rebuttal while they're speaking, and you have no clue what they just said to you. So unfair. So unfair for you, so unfair to them to be thinking of a rebuttal, to ready to go to war here. Here we go. Got this great rebuttal, and you have no clue what they just said or what they're saying to you because you got this great rebuttal going. Again, how many times has that got you in a great spot? That really solves things, doesn't it? A little sarcasm just to lighten the load a little bit, and a little humor, because if you think about many of these things, they're kind of obvious, but sometimes it's just nice to sit and reflect and talk about them and think about them and go, yeah, that really didn't get us anywhere, and that never has gotten us anywhere. So yeah, why are we doing that? Another one is, if there's anger involved, that goes nowhere. If somebody's really expressing anger, that's super unhealthy, obviously. And if there's really serious disrespect or abuse, to me, you'll hear me say this more than once, I promise you, that's game over. That's game out. You need to get out. If there's abuse going on, I don't care what type. If it's real abuse, you need to get out. This is a relationship that you need to jump and bail from. So hopefully that's not happening. So let's stick with relationships that aren't non-abusive. But if that's happening, that's go now. Proving your point, like I said, you're never gonna prove point, and it doesn't matter. And you think the other person really cares because they're thinking of something else while you're talking, and then while you're talking, they just come up with this great thing they're gonna tell you, and then they tell you, and that while you're thinking of something else come up with, and you're really not listening to what they're saying. In a second, they're done. You got this great thing of rebuttal that's gonna knock them off the socks, and you're just so good, and you're gonna talk to them and tell them it's amazing, and then all of a sudden you're done talking, and they got this great rebuttal. They've been over there thinking, not hearing a word you're saying, and they got this great thing to come back with, and how effective has that been? Not, right? So leaving a conversation, just get up and leave. Sometimes that's okay. If somebody says in a nice way, like, look, can you give me 5 minutes? Let me just go outside and get some fresh air. Okay, sometimes that can be healthy, but just leaving it, slam the door, not saying anything, that's not healthy. And obviously we talked about this, body language. Body language is huge. Body language can be very unhealthy. And then body language can be really healthy. But what's unhealthy body language? Unhealthy body language, I would say, with things like a stern look, crossing your arms, really being cut off from that other person. That's just got unhealthy written all over it, right? So what are some healthy things? What makes a healthy, or gives us a healthy communicating environment, or what shows up as being some healthy communication? How about soft tone for a start? Is there really a reason to raise your tone? Yep, because I got to prove my point. No, don't raise your tone. Soft tone is a beautiful thing. And along with that, how about some tenderness? Tenderness is a beautiful thing. When you show some tenderness, and I will add in there also maybe some compassion. When you really have a conversation with someone that's healthy, and particularly in a relationship, you may touch their shoulder, touch their arm, rub their leg, and just say, hey, and talk to them in a soft tone. Now we got healthy communication going on, and it's awesome. How about good body language? Like I said, how about maybe opening your arms, getting close to them? Maybe you can touch, maybe not, that's fine. But good body language, that's a huge one. Let's go to truly listening. Really listen, not just hear the words or somebody rambling, but really listen to what they say. In fact, listen to a point to where you can repeat back exactly what they say. And that's something else we'll talk about probably in a video as well, because this is such a big thing. It's really listening and hearing each other. And after hearing each other, really pulling out the listening part, where you literally listen to what they had to say. And repeating it back sometimes is a great idea. Something I'll probably make another video of down the road somewhere. Staying in the conversation, that's a big one. Staying there, just stay involved, stay there, stay in your space. You're trying to work this out. Hopefully we got calm. Hopefully we got softness, tenderness going on. Hopefully we got some real, true, intense listening happening. Stay there, stay in the space, and grow from it. Let's grow from this. The other one that's big is validation, something we'll talk about probably later again. And I keep saying that, but there's so many points that I can have full videos on, in which I probably will. But just everybody wants to be validated. Everyone wants to feel validated and feel heard. This is such a human thing that people want and need so much, is to be validated and be heard, and really be heard. Validation is huge. This is definitely under healthy communication. Validation, big, huge. Sometimes you're not going to agree. Many times you're going to disagree. And it's okay. Remember this when you're communicating. It's okay if you completely feel differently. It's okay to see life differently. It's okay to feel differently about a subject. It's okay to feel different about an event. It's okay if you see it differently. But at the end of the day, you can agree to disagree, and it's a beautiful thing. Just agree to disagree. You can still love each other and move on. And it's okay. I feel this way. I feel this way. We can still be connected. It's good. Be honest. Be vulnerable. When you're honest and vulnerable, man, it is such a big thing in having a healthy style of communication. And like I've said before, use kind words. Use nice words. Use words that are good, but never demean. Never do anything in the unhealthy department where you say words that are harsh. Things like, how many times this happened? How many times, like, you should have heard it the first time. I'm going to repeat myself. Or such an idiot. Why wouldn't you have picked up on that? Or anything like that is very demeaning and is in the unhealthy department. We don't want that. Stick in the healthy department where kind words, nothing's pushes us into the demeaning part. That's a terrible thing. So we have healthy, we have unhealthy. At the end of the day, we want to stick to the healthy communication. That's where we want to be. So when you're communicating with, like I say, it can be a brother, it can be a sister, it could be an aunt, it could be somebody at work, a coworker. But many times it's in a relationship where we're talking to someone who we should be kind. We should show a lot of grace and love to them. We should be able to show love and grace to ourselves, but we should be in a space of calm, of peace, of real expression and validation. And when you're there, you can really communicate and feel so connected. And this is where it will lead us. A healthy communication always leads to amazing connections. So if you're out here somewhere, when you start getting the healthy going on, you really start connecting. And this is what we all want, is to be tightly connected. And especially relationships, this is what we want. We want to be tightly connected. Unhealthy, disconnect. Got to disconnect all over the place. Healthy, connect. Unhealthy, unsafe. Scared, unsafe, bad space, super unsafe, not feeling it. Healthy communication, safe place. Safe place. It will bring safety, and that's a big thing. So unhealthy will also bring chaos. Healthy will bring calm and peace. Very, very different. And we all want calm and peace in our relationship. We also want happiness in our relationship. We want to be happy. That's what happens when we have a healthy communicating relationship. When it's unhealthy, all kinds of unhappiness. We're miserable. It's no fun. So, unhealthy, disconnection, chaotic, unsafe, unhappy. Healthy communication, we got good connection. It's awesome. There's peace and calm, happiness. It's a safe space, and that's where we want to be, in that nice, happy, feel-good, safe space. And communication really isn't rocket science. I'm going to show you so many things over the next however long, forever, I hope, for a long time. I'm going to show you so many things that's going to help you to connect with yourself, help you connect with others, help you connect with people at work, help you connect with your spouse. We're gonna go through some stuff. There's some really great stuff. We're gonna go through and help you with that. But I just wanted to kind of give you some basics tonight, and I hope in some way or another that's really helped. But just understand one thing. Yeah, sadly enough, when you're frustrated, like I can't communicate with him. He doesn't listen. She won't give me the time of day. She gives me the time to want to hear me, and she's not communicating to me. And I hate that she can't communicate with me. And he's a bad communicator. She's a terrible communicator. Well, most of the time, actually, you're communicating. It's just unhealthy. And that's the problem. So, and that's what I do. And that's what I love to do. That's my passion is when I come in. That's where I come in, is showing people how to regain. That's what I'm trying to show you tonight, to get a really healthy communicating environment so you can connect and have that peace and that good stuff. So